Okay, this lesson is the law of sines, but first thing they do is we're going to find the area of a triangle first. Okay, seems kind of odd to talk about the law of sines, then to find the area of a triangle. You think, what does the area have to do with the law of sines? Do you remember the law of sines at all from last year? At least studying it. Right. Good. Did you just remember that from last year, or did you just take a quick peek?
Well, I saw it in the book and then I remembered it.
Right. But you at least remember going over it last year, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, you might not remember every little bit about it, but hopefully you should. We did it, right? Who had me last year in class? Okay. All right. Yeah, we did it. We absolutely did it last year. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Let's talk about the area of a triangle. Let's go. Let's talk about a right triangle for right now. Let's go a different color here. A right triangle right now, yes. All right. So look, if I wanted to find the area of a triangle, do you remember what the basic equation is? You probably learned this way before geometry, even back in middle school or even elementary school, maybe. I don't know. Did you learn area in elementary school?
Elementary school.
You may have. 5th grade, 4th grade, maybe something like that. What was it? Do you remember? Triangle. It's 1/2 the base times the height. Do you remember that one? Okay, so if you had a right triangle, this is perfect for you right here. 1/2 the base times the height. Because if I considered this the base, which one would be the height?
That one.
This one right here?
No.
Which one?
That one.
That one?
Yeah.
Why is it the height?
Because it's straight up and down, it's vertical.
Does it always have to be vertical?
Yeah.
It does?
No, wait. If it's not, then you make a dotted line up to the top that forms a right triangle.
It's not vertical now, is it?
But you know.
Okay.
It's
All right.
perpendicular to
Thank
the
you.
base.
That's the word I was looking for. Okay, it's perpendicular, okay? If this is the base right here, listen to me now. If this is the base, we talked about this quite a bit in geometry last year as well. We talked about the base and the height. The base and the height have to be perpendicular to each other, okay? So they don't have to be, what's the word we said before? No. Vertical. You said vertical, right? It doesn't have to be vertical, does it? Now, I know what you were saying. I mean, you were basically saying, as far as this one is concerned, it's the vertical one.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that you realized. Let me try to get that as straight as I can. That's close enough. All right. So anyway, the base and the height need to be perpendicular to each other. That's the key. If these two sides are perpendicular, then one is the base and one is the height. Everybody got that? So this one right here would never be the height because it's not perpendicular to either one of these sides. You got it? What about this thing right here? What if I call this one the base, the one down the bottom?
Then you would
Different
draw a
color.
line right from the apex, I think it's called, right up top, straight down to make
All right. So we
perpendicular to the base.
That's right, perpendicular. We're not going to say straight. We're going to say perpendicular, right? So if this is the base right here, look, this right here is not the height. This one right here is not the height because they're not perpendicular to the base. We have to figure out which one or what is the height of this. So what is the length from the very top of it, okay, perpendicular to the base. All right, so that right there would be the height. Agreed? Okay. So the base is this whole thing. This would be the height. So if I knew this, then I would just use this formula. Area equals 1/2 base times the height. But I don't know this. Let me put some stuff in there that we may know. Let's call this angle A, B, C. And of course, if this is side B because it's opposite angle B, this side right here would be what?
Side A.
Side A. And this side right here?
C.
Side C. All right, you with me so far? Let's say this. Let's say you knew all three sides. All right, so you know A, B, and C. Everybody good so far? And you knew angle A. Okay, so you know angle A, and you know these three sides right here. Remember what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the area of it. So what we need to do is find the height. We don't know the height right now. But let's say we know all this other stuff. Could you find the height if you knew angle A? If you knew angle A and you knew side C, right, what would you use? Well, not Pythagorean theorem because we don't know this length right here. Even though we do know this, we don't know this thing right here. Is it cosine? To find H? Is that adjacent to angle A? It's opposite, isn't it? This is opposite and this is hypotenuse. So which one? The sine, okay? Now you're starting to see why they put this type of problem in this lesson when it's called the law of sines. All right? What we're doing right here is not the law of sines, but it's part of the same section. And you're probably wondering, why would they stick this in here with the law of sines? Well, what do you think? Because we're using what? The sine function, aren't we? So watch this. So if I wanted to set this up, I would say the sine of A equals, right, the hypotenuse, or not the hypotenuse, the opposite over the hypotenuse. So it's opposite over hypotenuse. Again, what are we trying to do? We're trying to solve for h, aren't we? Because we're trying to find the area of this triangle. I want to find the area of the triangle, which is 1/2 the base times the height. Well, I know 1/2, obviously. I know the base. Remember, we knew A, B, and C? So I know the base. What's the one thing that I don't know? I don't know the h. So why am I going through this? To solve for the h. So here, we've got this thing set up right here. Let's do a little quick algebra and solve for h. What would we do? That's right. Multiply both sides by c. That's what h is equal to. So we're going to take what h is equal to and do what to it? Put it right in for this. So now what am I going to do? I'm going to say area equals 1/2 the base times the height. What's the height? It's this thing right here, c sine of a. C sine of a. All right. In the other class, I didn't write this as a just so you wouldn't get confused. I just wrote out the word area, so let's do it like that. Is that all right? All right, because sometimes that could confuse people. There's the area of a triangle. It doesn't even have to be a right triangle, okay? It could be any triangle. So what do? You take 1/2 times the base times the c. What in the world is the c? Well, c is the other adjacent side. Do you see that? Are you watching? So this side right here is the base. This is the height, but how did you find the height? You took c times the sine of this angle, all right? Notice, there are 3 different letters. There's the a, but that's the angle, right? What are the other 2 sides? The other 2 sides are the ones that are not across from angle A. So what if I did this? Now you could do this with all 3 sides. I just took it from the B angle and dropped it perpendicular here. I could have taken it from the A angle, angle A, and dropped it perpendicular and set up the same exact thing. I could have taken it from angle C, put it perpendicular, and did the same exact thing. But just because of time, what we're going to do is we're going to do this. Watch. It's 1/2. Now look, what if I was dealing with angle B this time? So I would go sine of angle B. What would be my 2 letters in here? Now look, this is A, B, C. See, these are the 2 sides, excuse me, that are not across from angle A. So what are the 2 sides that are not across from angle B? A and C, right? So my new equation would be this, just depending on which angle that you're dealing with. It's AC, yes, that's what I said. All right, and you could do it this way as well. It's 1/2. What's the other angle I could use? I could use angle C. So what would I do? I would get the sine of C. What would these 2 letters be?
A.
It'd be A and B, right? It would be the one. Let me make that C just a little bit bigger. Why isn't it getting rid of it? Oh, I know why. Because I didn't hit Control Z. Yes, I was. I don't know. I don't know why it's not doing it. That's weird. I was trying to get rid of that C, and the only reason is I just want to make it bigger. So all right, there we go. Now it looks like an angle. So what letters do we put in here? A and B. Notice, angle A, side B and C. Angle B, side A and C. Angle C, side A and B. You got it? Okay. There's 3 different ways to look at it. Really, you don't have to memorize all 3. What I would do, I would just understand what we're doing here. So what do? When you find the area, it's 1/2, and then depending on what angle you're using, okay, depending on what angle that you know, you're going to put the sine of A, but then you're going to multiply that by the other 2 sides. What I mean by that, side A is not going to be involved here, right? If I'm using angle A, I'm not using side A. Everybody got that? If I'm using angle B, and I'm not using side B. If I use angle C, I'm not using side C. I use the other 2 sides. Make sense? So it's not like you have to sit here and memorize every single one of these. You just have to realize that whole thing that's going on here. If I'm using this particular angle, I'm not using the side that's opposite that angle that I'm using. Let's do an example. Hopefully it'll make sense. So here we go. Here's an example, and here's our situation. I don't even care if I know the letters or not. Okay, they really don't mean anything to me, but I want to find the area of this triangle. Remember what it is. It's 1/2 times something else times what? The sine of the angle. Now, which angle do I know? I only know one angle, so it's the 104. So if I use the 104, I'm not going to use this side right here. And that's good because I don't know it anyway, do I? All right, so it's nice that I don't have to use that one. So what do I use? I use the two sides. You could look at it like this. It's the two adjacent sides. Do you see it?
Yeah.
It's the side that's next to this 104. It's the other side that's next to this 104. So what do you put right here? Just 9 and 8. Throw that in a calculator, and you get, let me see what they got, 34.9 it looks like. 34.9. Now this is area, and this is in centimeters. Is it just 34.9 centimeters? No, it's centimeters what? It's area. It's centimeters times centimeters. Look, this is 9 centimeters times 9 centimeters. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. This is an approximate, obviously, and then that's it. It's pretty simple, isn't it? I didn't have to draw a height or do any real trig or anything like that. Just plug it into a formula, and we're good to go.